Welcome to Yemen. Yemen isn't just a country, it's a living museum where time seems to stand still. At the crossroads of Africa and Arabia, this land has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth of civilizations, and the exchange of ideas for over 3,000 years. Beneath its rugged mountains and across its coastal plains lie treasures so extraordinary they seem born of legend rather than reality. What secrets does this ancient land hold? From alien landscapes with trees that bleed red sap to towering mud skyscrapers that have weathered centuries of desert storms. From palaces that seem to grow from rock formations to engineering marvels that transformed deserts into gardens. Before we journey through these extraordinary places, let's take a moment to uncover some fascinating facts about this beautiful country. In Yemen, buildings aren't just shelters, they're sophisticated climate control systems designed centuries before electricity existed. Tower houses feature precisely calculated window placements, creating natural convection currents that draw cool air upward. Thick walls, sometimes exceeding 1 meter, absorb heat during scorching days and release it at night, maintaining comfortable temperatures year-round. Special malkafs capture passing breezes and channel them into living spaces. Most remarkable is how ancient Yemeni builders predicted local wind patterns with astonishing accuracy, angling these features to maximize cooling during different seasons. This architectural meteorology represents indigenous climate science that modern sustainable architects are only now rediscovering. Beneath Yemen's parched landscapes lies an invisible marvel, one of history's most sophisticated water management systems. The Falaj irrigation network consists of gently sloping underground tunnels, transporting water from mountain aquifers to settlements across vast distances. These gravity-powered engineering wonders extend for kilometers, with vertical access shafts for maintenance, some functioning continuously for over 3,000 years. In cities like Taiz, complex water rights evolved into mathematical systems of remarkable precision, with shares measured in minutes rather than volume. This subterranean civilization created abundant gardens in seemingly impossible locations, terraced farms cascading down mountainsides, and desert oases blooming with fruit trees, all nourished by hidden channels beneath the sun-baked surface. Long before elevators made vertical living practical, Yemen developed the world's first high-rise society. This vertical arrangement created unique social dynamics. Family living spaces traditionally ascended by generation, with grandparents occupying top floors prized for privacy and views. Lower floors housed animals and storage, creating a microcosm of society within a single structure. Specialized architecture developed, like the mafraj upper floor rooms designed specifically for social gatherings, featuring panoramic windows and exceptional acoustics for poetry and music. Even inheritance laws adapted to vertical living, with regulations for dividing floors among heirs. Some tower houses have been continuously inhabited by the same family for 500+ years, a three-dimensional family tree made manifest in architecture. Socotra Island. Floating in the Indian Ocean, 380 kilometers from Yemen's mainland, lies a place so isolated that life here evolved in complete separation from the rest of the world for 20 million years. Upon first glimpse of Socotra, you might wonder if you've somehow landed on another planet. The dragon blood trees, unlike anything else on Earth, stand like alien sentinels across the limestone plateaus. When their bark is cut, red sap oozes out like blood. Known locally as Dam al-Akawain, this crimson resin has been used for medicine, dyes, and even cosmetics since ancient times. An astonishing 37% of Socotra's plant species exist nowhere else on Earth. Bottle trees with swollen trunks store water in this harsh environment. Desert roses look like bonsai elephants sculpted by nature. Cucumber trees bear strange, misshapen fruits that seem plucked from science fiction. The island's isolation has protected not only its plant life, but also its reptiles and land snails, with 90% and 95% of these species being endemic, respectively. This extraordinary level of endemism rivals that of the Galapagos Islands, earning Socotra its nickname, the Galapagos of the Indian Ocean. Beyond its bizarre flora, Socotra features dramatic landscapes. White sand beaches give way to granite mountains that soar to heights of 1,500 meters. Limestone caves honeycomb the interior, some extending for kilometers underground. Ancient petroglyphs hint at human habitation dating back thousands of years, suggesting that even in deep antiquity, seafarers knew of this otherworldly island. UNESCO recognized this extraordinary place as a World Heritage Site in 2008, but no designation can capture the feeling of standing amid landscapes that seem transplanted from another world entirely. What other extraordinary places have evolved in isolation, hidden from our view until now? Shibam, mud skyscrapers. From one alien landscape to another, except this time, the otherworldly site is entirely human-made. Rising dramatically from the desert floor of Wadi Hadramaut stands Shibam, the Manhattan of the desert. Can mud truly reach toward the sky? In Shibam, over 500 tower houses built entirely of mud bricks soar 5 to 11 stories high. The tallest reaches 100 feet, made even more remarkable considering the oldest buildings date to the 16th century, with the settlement itself tracing back to the 3rd century CE. Why build upward in a seemingly endless desert? Protection. These tightly packed towers safeguarded residents from Bedouin attacks. The mud bricks, reinforced with limestone, create surprisingly durable structures, though they demand constant maintenance. After heavy rains, the entire community joins to repair damaged sections, a tradition passed down through generations. The construction process remains largely unchanged over centuries. Mud is mixed with straw and water, then formed into thousands of bricks that dry in the desert sun. Builders create wider walls at the base, sometimes up to 2 meters thick, gradually tapering as the structure rises. Wooden support beams made from palm trunks provide crucial reinforcement between floors. Inside these towers, you'd find an ingenious layout. Lower floors traditionally house livestock and storage. Middle floors serve as living and gathering spaces, and upper floors provide sleeping quarters, with rooftops utilized for socializing in cool evening air. This vertical arrangement maximizes limited space while providing natural ventilation in the desert heat. Shibam isn't merely ancient architecture, it's the world's first vertical city and earliest example of urban planning based on vertical construction. As you navigate the narrow streets between these earthen skyscrapers, their facades decorated with intricate geometric patterns, you're walking through living history, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that still functions as a thriving community today. Old City of Sana'a. If cities could speak, the Old City of Sana'a would tell tales spanning millennia. For over 2,500 years, people have lived continuously within these walls, making it one of the oldest inhabited cities on Earth. Look up, and you'll see what makes Sana'a instantly recognizable. Over 6,000 multi-story tower houses built before the 11th century. Each home stands as a masterpiece of geometric patterns and gypsum whitework, crowned with stained glass windows called kamaria, that transform sunlight into kaleidoscopic patterns across interior walls. Morning light reveals facades decorated like wedding cakes, with intricate friezes of white gypsum against red brick. No two houses are identical, yet together they create perfect harmony. UNESCO recognized this architectural symphony as a World Heritage Site in 1986. The distinctive architectural style developed in response to the region's climate and available materials. Thick walls of stone and mud brick provide natural insulation against temperature extremes. The narrow streets create shade and channel cool breezes through the city. Upper stories typically feature the famous mafraj, a special room for entertaining guests, often with panoramic views of the surrounding city. Sana'a's water management system is equally impressive. A sophisticated network of cisterns, wells, and public baths has sustained the population for centuries in this arid region. Many houses feature private hammams, bathhouses, that demonstrate the city's advanced understanding of hygiene and water conservation. At the heart of the Old City stands the Great Mosque, built in 630 CE, one of the oldest mosques in the Islamic world. Nearby, Souk al-Mil, Salt Market, bustles with activity as it has for centuries, one of the oldest continuously operating markets in the Arabian Peninsula. Here, merchants sell everything from spices and silver to traditional jambia daggers, carrying on commercial traditions established when Sana'a served as a vital stop on incense trade routes. Walking these ancient streets feels like stepping into the pages of 1001 Nights. How many generations have worn smooth these same stone stairs we climb today? Queen of Sheba's palace at Marib. Some stories blur the line between legend and history. The tale of the Queen of Sheba visiting King Solomon with gifts of gold and spices appears in Jewish, Christian, and Islamic texts. But where was her kingdom? Archaeological evidence points to Marib, capital of the ancient Sabaean kingdom that flourished from the 8th century BCE to 275 CE. Here, excavations have revealed the remains of what many believe to be her palace, complete with throne room, audience hall, and royal quarters. The Sabaeans controlled the lucrative frankincense and myrrh trade routes, making them fabulously wealthy. These aromatic resins were more valuable than gold, used in temples worldwide, and believed to carry prayers to the heavens. Frankincense trees grew almost exclusively in southern Arabia and the Horn of Africa, giving the Sabaeans a virtual monopoly on this precious commodity. This wealth manifested in monumental architecture. The palace complex spans over 14,000 square meters with walls reaching heights of 14 meters. Inscriptions in the ancient South Arabian script document royal decrees, religious ceremonies, and diplomatic relations with neighboring kingdoms. One notable inscription mentions a queen named Bilqis, believed by many scholars to be the biblical Sheba. Near the palace stands the Temple of Awam, also called Mahram Bilqis, Temple of Sheba. With 8 massive pillars and sprawling courtyards, it was one of the largest religious centers in ancient Arabia, where people worshipped the moon god Al-Maka. The oval-shaped temple contained multiple sanctuaries and was approached by a ceremonial staircase flanked by bronze lions. Excavations have yielded votive offerings including alabaster statues, bronze figures, and inscribed stone tablets documenting prayers and sacrifices. Despite ongoing conflicts in Yemen, archaeologists continue their work here when possible. Each new discovery adds another piece to the puzzle of this powerful queen who may have ruled this desert kingdom 3,000 years ago. What treasures still lie buried beneath the sands, waiting to tell their stories? Dar al-Hajar. Some buildings seem to defy both gravity and imagination. Dar al-Hajar, the Rock Palace, is one such marvel. Located in Wadi Dar Valley, just 15 kilometers from Sana'a, this 5-story palace doesn't just sit on a rock, it grows from it, as if the stone itself decided to reach toward the sky. Built in the 1920s by Imam Yahya Muhammad Hamid ad-Din, the palace stands atop a natural rock formation, incorporating an earlier structure. From a distance, it's impossible to distinguish where natural rock ends and human construction begins. Step inside, and you'll find quintessential Yemeni architectural elements: Kamaria windows filtering sunlight through colored glass, alabaster ornaments gleaming like pearls, and intricate woodwork that took master craftsmen years to complete. The palace showcases ingenious architectural solutions to practical challenges. Without flat ground to build upon, the architects used the rock's natural contours to support different levels of the structure. Water cisterns carved directly into the bedrock ensure a year-round supply critical in this arid region. Secret passages and hidden chambers provided escape routes and safe rooms for the imam and his family during times of unrest. Each floor serves a specific purpose. The ground level, accessible only through a narrow staircase cut into the rock, housed guards and servants. Upper floors contained the imam's private quarters, guest reception halls, and administrative offices. The highest level features a diwan, council chamber, with expansive views of the surrounding valley, perfect for both strategic surveillance and peaceful contemplation. So iconic is this structure that it once appeared on Yemen's 20 real banknote. Today, it serves as a museum showcasing traditional Yemeni architecture and royal life. The Rock Palace stands as testimony to Yemeni builders' ability to transform natural challenges into architectural opportunities. How did they transport materials up the steep rock face? How did they secure foundations into the natural stone? These questions only add to the wonder of this gravity-defying structure. City of Aden. What happens when humans build a city inside the crater of an extinct volcano? The answer is Aden, a natural fortress that has served as one of the world's great ports since antiquity. The city hugs a perfect natural harbor formed by volcanic activity millions of years ago. Some scholars believe Aden might be the biblical Eden, a paradise where land and sea work in perfect harmony. For thousands of years, ships traveling between east and west stopped here. During the spice trade era, Aden became one of the busiest ports in the world. When the Suez Canal opened in 1869, Aden's strategic importance grew even further. The British recognized this value, making Aden a crown colony from 1937 to 1963. The city's history reads like a who's who of ancient empires. The Romans referred to it as Arabia Felix, Fortunate Arabia, due to its prosperity. Under the Himyarite Kingdom, 110 BCE 525 CE, Aden thrived as a commercial center. Later, it attracted merchants from as far as China, with historical records showing Chinese Admiral Zheng He visiting in the early 15th century. Despite harsh, arid conditions, Aden flourished thanks to remarkable water management systems. Perhaps most impressive are the Tawila tanks, dating back to the 1st century CE, massive cisterns carved into volcanic rock that collected precious rainwater. These interconnected reservoirs, some exceeding 50 meters in diameter and 18 meters deep, could store up to 45 million liters of water. This sophisticated water conservation system supported a thriving city in one of the world's driest environments. The city's volcanic setting provided natural defenses that various rulers enhanced with fortifications. The distinctive crater rim creates a natural amphitheater, with neighborhoods climbing up the interior slopes. This unique topography influenced the city's development, creating distinct districts with architectural styles reflecting different historical periods, from medieval Islamic buildings to Victorian colonial structures. From volcanic destruction came one of humanity's most perfect harbors. Could the ancient Adenites have imagined their city would one day connect continents and cultures for millennia? Sirah Fortress. Standing guard over Aden's precious harbor is Sirah Fortress, a stone sentinel with centuries of stories to tell. Built on a volcanic peninsula with sheer drops to the sea on 3 sides, this fortress has controlled access to Aden's harbor since the 11th century. Using local volcanic stone that seems to grow organically from the peninsula itself, builders created an imposing structure with watchtowers and defensive walls designed to repel invaders. In the 16th century, the fortress was significantly expanded as Portuguese fleets threatened to seize control of this strategic location. The fortress's design demonstrates sophisticated military architecture. A single narrow causeway connects it to the mainland, creating a natural choke point easily defended against attacking forces. Massive walls up to 5 meters thick could withstand bombardment from naval cannons. Strategically placed watchtowers provided 360-degree visibility, with each tower positioned to cover the blind spots of others. Inside the fortress, a complex network of buildings served various functions. Barracks housed soldiers, while underground cisterns stored fresh water essential during sieges. Armories, workshops, and storage facilities ensured the garrison could operate independently for extended periods. The commander's quarters occupied the highest point, offering both security and commanding views. Those walls witnessed fierce resistance against Portuguese invasion attempts, helping preserve Arab control of this crucial maritime crossroads. From its highest points, Sirah Fortress offers breathtaking views of Aden city, its natural harbor, and the surrounding mountains. The fortress represents the perfect marriage of natural defense and human ingenuity. The builders didn't fight against the rugged landscape, they embraced it, incorporating volcanic rock into their defensive strategy. What tales could these ancient stones tell if they could speak of the countless battles, trades, and cultural exchanges they've witnessed? Jabal Haraz mountain terraces. Some landscapes look impossible, as if someone took flat farmland, folded it like an accordion, and set it on edge. The terraced mountains of Jabal Haraz in Yemen's western highlands are exactly this kind of impossibility made real. Rising to elevations of 3,000 meters, these mountains should be uninhabitable. Yet for thousands of years, Yemeni farmers have carved terraces that trace contour lines across impossibly steep slopes, creating productive farmland where none should exist. These terraces support the cultivation of coffee, cot, fruits, and grains through ingenious irrigation systems that distribute limited rainfall with maximum efficiency. Without a single wasted drop, water flows from one terrace to the next, sustaining life in this vertical landscape. Creating these terraces required astronomical amounts of labor. Generation after generation moved stones by hand, building retaining walls that follow the mountain contours. Some walls reach heights of 15 meters, while others are barely knee-high, each precisely engineered for its specific location. The terraces aren't merely agricultural platforms, but complex watersheds that catch, channel, and conserve precious rain. The farming methods employed here have remained largely unchanged for centuries. Crops are rotated to maintain soil fertility, with different plants grown at different elevations according to their ideal climate conditions. Traditional tools, wooden plows pulled by oxen, hand sickles for harvesting are still widely used, though some modern innovations have been selectively adopted. Perched on peaks and ridges among these terraces are fortified stone villages, some dating back more than 500 years. Built from the same stone as the mountains themselves, these settlements blend so perfectly with the landscape that they're often visible only when their windows catch the sunlight. The villages typically occupy non-arable land, preserving every possible square meter for cultivation. Diverse tribal communities have maintained these terraces for countless generations, each with distinct cultural traditions but united by their commitment to this extraordinary agricultural system. How many millions of stones have been moved by hand to create this vertical farming miracle? Kamaran Island. In the turquoise waters of the Red Sea lies Kamaran Island, Yemen's largest island in these waters, covering 108 square kilometers of coral-fringed paradise. Beyond its natural beauty, Kamaran holds a unique place in history. During Ottoman and later British rule, the island served as a quarantine station for Muslim pilgrims traveling to Mecca. Before continuing their sacred journey, pilgrims would stay here to ensure they weren't carrying diseases that could spread among the faithful gathered in holy cities. The quarantine facilities included extensive medical complexes, dormitories, and administrative buildings. At its peak in the early 20th century, the station could accommodate thousands of pilgrims simultaneously. Each national or regional group had designated areas, with separate facilities for those showing symptoms of illness. The complex included hospitals, disinfection chambers, and laboratories equipped with the latest medical technology of the era. The island still bears witness to this history through Ottoman and British administrative buildings that stand as architectural time capsules. Walking among these structures, you can almost hear the prayers of pilgrims who waited here, their eyes turned toward Mecca. Kamaran's natural environment is equally remarkable. The island features mangrove forests along its eastern shores that serve as critical nurseries for marine life. Seagrass meadows provide feeding grounds for the endangered dugong, a relative of the manatee. Below the crystal waters surrounding Kamaran, vibrant coral reefs host some of the highest marine biodiversity in the Red Sea. Fish in impossible colors dart among coral formations that have grown undisturbed for centuries. The island has a rich cultural heritage beyond its quarantine history. Traditional fishing communities have inhabited Kamaran for centuries, developing specialized techniques for sustainably harvesting the surrounding waters. Local craftsmen are known for their distinctive boat-building methods, creating vessels perfectly adapted to local conditions. Beyond its beauty and history, Kamaran's location gives it strategic importance for controlling southern Red Sea shipping routes. Throughout history, whoever controlled this island gained significant advantage in regional maritime power. What stories could be told by the countless pilgrims who passed through this island gateway on their path to fulfilling religious obligations? Bab-el-Mandeb Strait. Some geographical features shape human history more than others. The Bab-el-Mandeb Strait, whose name translates to Gate of Tears in Arabic, is one such pivotal location. This narrow 20-mile-wide channel connects the Red Sea to the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean beyond. Today, approximately 4.8 million barrels of oil pass through daily, making it one of the world's most critical maritime choke points. The strait earned its sorrowful name from the dangerous sailing conditions that have claimed countless ships and lives throughout history. Strong currents, unpredictable winds, and numerous small islands create navigational challenges that continue to test mariners, even in the age of GPS and modern navigation. The strait's strategic significance has made it a focal point of conflict throughout history. Various powers, from ancient Egyptian pharaohs to Ottoman sultans to modern naval forces, have sought to control this crucial passage. Its importance has only grown in the modern era, as much of the world's petroleum and commercial shipping must pass through these waters. The Bab-el-Mandeb is more than just a shipping lane, it's a geological marvel that transformed our planet's climate. Formed about 34 million years ago when the Arabian Peninsula separated from Africa, this opening allowed waters from the Indian Ocean to fill the Red Sea basin. This geological event altered ocean currents and regional climate patterns, contributing to the aridification of East Africa, a change some scientists believe influenced human evolution. Indeed, this strait may have witnessed one of humanity's most important journeys. Many scientists believe early humans crossed here when migrating out of Africa, making this narrow passage potentially responsible for the human settlement of Asia, Europe, and beyond. Archaeological evidence from both sides of the strait shows remarkably similar stone tools dating to around 100,000 years ago, suggesting regular crossing between the continents. Standing on the Yemeni shores of Bab-el-Mandeb, watching massive container ships and oil tankers navigate these treacherous waters. You're witnessing both ancient history and modern commerce flowing through the same geographic bottleneck. Could our earliest ancestors have imagined the future importance of their crossing point? Zabid. Knowledge has always been precious, but few places elevated it to an art form like Zabid. Founded in the 9th century CE and serving as Yemen's capital from the 13th to 15th centuries, this city became an intellectual powerhouse whose influence spread throughout the Islamic world. Zabid's crowning achievement was its Islamic University, established in 956 CE, making it one of the oldest centers of Islamic learning on Earth. Within its walls, scholars made significant contributions to algebra and mathematics that would eventually transform science worldwide. The city's academic reputation attracted students from across the Islamic world and beyond. At its peak, Zabid housed 230 schools and numerous libraries containing thousands of manuscripts. Scholars specialized in diverse fields including mathematics, astronomy, medicine, Islamic law, and literature. Among the most significant contributions was the development of algebraic notation and theory by Zabidi mathematicians, building upon the earlier work of al-Khwarizmi. Walk through Zabid today, and distinctive brick architecture with intricate decorations tells the story of a cultured society that valued knowledge above all else. The city's layout reveals careful urban planning, with neighborhoods organized around mosques and madrasas, schools. Public spaces like markets and squares were designed to encourage discourse and the exchange of ideas. Zabid's architectural style is unique, featuring elaborate brickwork in geometric patterns that demonstrates both mathematical precision and artistic sensibility. Many buildings incorporate muqarnas, honeycomb-like decorative vaulting in doorways, and mihrabs, prayer niches. These architectural elements weren't merely decorative, but often represented complex mathematical concepts through their design. UNESCO recognized Zabid's importance by designating it a World Heritage Site in 1993, though ongoing conflicts have placed it on the endangered list. Despite these challenges, Zabid remains a testament to Yemen's intellectual contributions to world civilization. For centuries, this desert city attracted scholars from across the Islamic world who came to study, debate, and expand human understanding. How many mathematical concepts that we take for granted today were first discussed in Zabid's classrooms? Yemen coffee heritage. That morning cup of coffee that millions worldwide consider essential to starting their day? Its story begins in Yemen's misty highlands. Yemen was the first place where coffee was cultivated commercially, dating back to the 15th century. While coffee plants originated in Ethiopia, Yemeni farmers were the first to develop systematic cultivation techniques, growing coffee on mountain terraces between 1,000 and 2,500 meters above sea level. According to local legend, a Sufi mystic named Ali ibn Omar al-Shadhili discovered coffee's stimulating properties while observing birds that had eaten the bright red berries becoming unusually energetic. He experimented by brewing the beans into a drink that helped him and his followers stay awake during long nights of prayer. This discovery transformed coffee from a wild plant into a cultivated crop of immense cultural and economic significance. These beans left Yemen through the port of Mocha, giving this coffee type its name. For centuries, Yemen had a global monopoly on coffee production, with beans so prized that many tried to smuggle plants out of the country, a crime punishable by death. Despite these efforts, Yemeni authorities maintained tight control over viable seeds, forcing the world to purchase from Yemen and making the kingdom enormously wealthy. The cultivation methods developed by Yemeni farmers remain largely unchanged. Coffee grows under the shade of other trees like khat, creating a multi-storied agricultural system that maximizes limited mountain space. Traditional stone terraces both retain water and provide protection from erosion during the rainy season. Today, indigenous Yemeni varieties like Udaini, Tufahi, and Dawairi continue to be cultivated using methods passed down through generations. Traditional dry processing techniques where coffee cherries are dried whole in the sun before hulling create distinctive wine-like flavor profiles with complex fruit and chocolate notes that connoisseurs treasure. The influence of Yemeni coffee extends beyond agriculture into culture and language. The word coffee itself derives from kahwa in Arabic. The first coffee houses, called makha, originated in Yemen before spreading to Cairo, Damascus, Istanbul, and eventually Europe. These establishments revolutionized social life, creating spaces where people could gather to exchange ideas, conduct business, and enjoy entertainment. More than just a crop, coffee represents cultural heritage. Coffee ceremonies remain an important part of Yemeni hospitality, bringing people together in a tradition that has spread worldwide. How different would our modern world be without the social spaces and customs that coffee culture created? Marib Dam. Long before modern engineering, ancient civilizations tackled impossible challenges, perhaps none more impressive than the Marib Dam, an engineering marvel built around the 8th century BCE that transformed desert into farmland. Using only local stone, earthen embankments, and sophisticated sluice systems, Sabaean engineers created a dam that irrigated over 9,600 hectares of land, roughly the size of 18,000 football fields. This agricultural surplus enabled the prosperity of the Sabaean kingdom, fueling trade networks that stretched from India to the Mediterranean. The dam's design demonstrated remarkable engineering sophistication for its era. Rather than attempt to completely block the seasonal floods of Wadi Dana, Sabaean engineers created a system to divert and control the water. Two massive sluices on either side of the valley channeled water into primary canals, which then fed into progressively smaller distribution networks. Stone floodgates allowed precise control of water flow, while spillways prevented catastrophic failures during exceptionally heavy floods. Construction was a monumental undertaking, employing thousands of workers over decades. The main structure stretched 580 meters across the wadi, with a height of 14 meters and a thickness of 60 meters at its base. Builders used locally quarried stone for the outer facing and compacted earth for the core, techniques remarkably similar to modern earth-filled dam construction. Inscriptions found near the dam record its construction and maintenance over centuries. One famous inscription from around 500 CE describes extensive repairs ordered by King Abraha, demonstrating the ongoing commitment to maintaining this crucial infrastructure. These inscriptions provide valuable insights into both engineering practices and administrative organization in ancient Arabia. Most remarkable is the dam's longevity. It stood for over 1,000 years before finally collapsing around 575 CE. The Quran references this collapse in Surah Saba, describing how the flood of Arim came after the dam's failure, marking the end of an era. The collapse led to widespread abandonment of agricultural land and contributed to the decline of the once mighty Sabaean kingdom. In 1986, a new, smaller dam was built near the ancient site, though it cannot match the scale or ambition of its predecessor. What engineering secrets did those ancient builders possess that allowed their creation to endure for a millennium? Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Yemen greatest wonders. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible explorations.